Pain is one of the ways that the body is telling us consciously, do something about this. It's not right.
I'd love to hear just a little bit about, um, just a little bit more about the transformation process. We've dived into that a little bit. So someone starts, they'll notice things, things will come up. They may even notice, and I think there was, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this in the book about the analogy of the rocks and the water. And as the water settles, as the stillness in the body settles, we start to notice things come up.
Right.
And
Right. Well, this also has to do with we should discuss the three circles of awareness that's in the book. And
yes,
that is, the first circle of awareness is what I can feel and what I can sense. And it's all around me. I can sense this and sense that and sense the air and everything. Then there's parts of the body that are a little deeper from the surface, you might say. And there's places where we can sort of sense this. This is more peripheral awareness. And we can sense certain things, but not quite as if they're focused like they are in the physical. We might say, well, our first circle is almost like a magnifying glass. Whatever we look at,
yes,
or what we look at inside, is going to get a big picture. Okay, and then the peripheral awareness is more, I would say, less magnified, but we're aware of it. And don't forget, this is having to do with our subconscious now, because the subconscious is handling the management of the blood flow, of the heartbeat, of the breathing, and all these mechanisms that are going on in the body are related to that. And we're
yes,
not aware of them. We're not aware of them unless we're a yogi or something, and you can stop your breath and make your heartbeat go real slow. But it can be done. And so that just tells you that they were able to access that part of their subconscious, which is in control of that.
yeah,
So we begin to touch on the subconscious and the peripheral awareness. And then we have things, the big circle, beyond what we can feel at this moment. And what happens in this transformational process is the things that are on the peripheral, the second circle, move inward and become magnified. So, like, let's say we had a big sore here, but we had a little sore over here. As this one goes away, all of a sudden we focus here, and then it becomes big. It seems like, oh, that's really there.
yeah,
And you have to become aware that the pain level or whatever it is probably hasn't changed. But what has changed is your focus upon it.
yes,
And pain is one of the ways that the body is telling us consciously, do something about this. It's not right.
yes,
Okay. I mean, because what happens normally in terms of the cellular systems and the brain is that when the cellular systems are in need of help, they send a message to the brain, micro mini voltage frequencies, and the brain responds with a command for a chemical reaction generally, and that usually takes care of business. What happens over time is the cellular communication breaks down
yes,
uh, between either the system can't communicate with the brain over the real long period, over a short period, it gets to the brain, but the message from the brain doesn't get back. This is one of the reasons why things don't get better by themselves, but they do when we're little children.
yes,
See, because the cellular communication is uninterrupted. But as we get older, it becomes more difficult to achieve this. So we achieved all of this and enhance it by doing this standing, by doing this becoming still, accepting ourselves exactly where we are, and learning to develop relaxation. It may require moving the body slightly. It may require a change in the state of mind of letting go. That's the biggest thing. To me, the art of standing meditation is also the art of relaxation, the ability to say, what is real relaxation? And is there a limit to it? And we know that the closest limit you'll come, basically, you're dead. You know what I mean? Okay, but shy of that, there is a huge area of this sense of relaxation. And now we go into the theory of Chinese medicine, where they say the qi flows best through relaxed muscles. So the energy flows best through being relaxed.
yes,
And that tension can create blockages, kind of like a dam. Above the dam, things back up. Below the dam, things can't get through.
yes,
So that's why, for instance, let's say if you probably have a tennis elbow or something here, then we talk about in the book the station method. We work on the shoulder to relax and open up. And then we relax through the elbow, and then finally down to the forearm or the hand.
yes,
all that. So this ability to, the greatest thing it does is give you a way greater and deeper awareness of your body.
Yes.
Eventually, you get to the point, at least for periods of time during this exercise, that you would do what the Buddhists would call enter into the void. And you know you've done this because, let's say you started and you looked at your watch and it's whatever time it is at the beginning. And then you figure some time's gone by and you look again, and instead of being only 10 minutes, it's 40 minutes. Well, what happened to all that time in between?
Yes.
They say that you enter the void, but the void is a bit of a misnomer. The Taoists in alchemy call it that there's a false void, which just seems to be empty. But the void that they're speaking of is the void which is not empty, which doesn't make any sense in logical.
Try and grab onto it.
But when you experience this, you come into a state where things feel, like I say, suspended almost in thought and feeling. And you're able to simply experience it directly. It's like direct experience. It kind of goes beyond the physical itself, and you begin to feel these energies move. And then later, this is part of the thing. You can teach the energy to move around you in a circle or this or that in the various ways that you do. But what is so amazing is that you don't have, because a lot of these systems are very complicated. You've got to do this and then do that, and it's like doing this, rub your chest and but it can be done, and it is effective. And the things that, like I said, I was reading that this is the same way it's been taught for 76 generations. So
yes,
obviously, if it didn't work, it would have been discarded a long time ago. But it's complicated. But by a person just doing the standing meditation, working with that center, their Logan Tian, or even the navel area, as in Taoism often they do, but they use both. You are able to go beyond what the logical mind and get into elements of the subconscious mind to get the blow out here. Then kind of you get these quantum leaps where, as I was describing something in the book, and then after a particular stand, all of a sudden I could do something. I knew what it was, and I could emulate it. I'd go grab a student or something and try.
yes.
You know what I mean? Most of my students are family, like this and that. So, it was easy. But and then lo and behold, it worked. Then you work on refining it. What did I do? You try to remember these things. But you're going to get at a certain point these real quantum leaps. And if it's martial ability, then you'll feel certain things that totally explode. Or do this, or later you can do things even more. You begin to take control of the person's energy field inside the physical body. And
yes.
Anyway, that's getting into a whole other discussion.
Yes.
With push hands and this type of thing. But like I say, the most amazing thing for me with the standing, because I had injured myself pretty bad teaching women's. So I had gone through everything and I had learned lineage, Tai Chi, and this and that. But it's only when I returned to the standing and took it up, completely seriously, that things really began to heal on the level to where, I don't go around trying to bench press 400 pounds. I would probably tear it out. Besides that, my arm wouldn't lift it anyway. But so that's the idea. I would just let it go, and it would become that.